So thanks for having me. I notice every year this event gets a lot more energy, and it's really exciting for me. Personally, I think the fact that this is my hometown, it just adds an extra emphasis for me every day in what I'm doing here. I care about NGA, I care about this mission greatly, and the fact that this new facility is paying such dividends already for the community just means the world to me. And most of our team, our program team, is predominantly made up of folks from here, from the local community. So we're excited to be here. I am between you and the networking reception, AKA happy hour, which means I'm also between myself and happy hour. So we'll try to keep this moving. A lot of you have gotten N2W updates before, but I think we do have a few new pieces of information to share. So hope you find this interesting. So I can say that managing a big project like this is definitely challenging. Definitely a big part of my job is keeping everything on schedule and within budget. But we also think about performance. We think about N2W, really as kind of a living, breathing system for the agency. And we're planning a facility around the future vision for NGA and really for decades and decades of function. Our current building is 100 years old, so we always talk about 100 years, and that really is what we're shooting for. So I don't know if you all knew, but there's a GeoInt genie. And the GeoInt genie apparently has a personal relationship with me because it says so on this piece of paper. So the GeoInt genie said, Sue Pullman, I'll grant you one wish, so tell me what you want. And I said, okay, going to Hawaii. And I really am not fond of flying that far. And cruise ship, just too slow. So why don't you give me a nice highway across the Pacific Ocean to get to Hawaii? Shouldn't be a problem. So the genie's like, wow, that's really a tough one. I don't think you realize how much effort it's going to take to sink all those pilings to get across the Pacific Ocean. And do you have any idea of how much concrete and asphalt you'd need for those thousands of miles of highways? So, think about, Sue, you dealt with environmental impact statements. You know how hard those are to get through. So imagine what that would be to run a highway across the Pacific Ocean. So I'm like, okay, tell you what, I'll change my wish. Build me a brand new state-of-the-art facility. Let it hold 3,000 or so of our best NGA employees. Make sure it accommodates both cleared and uncleared personnel and all the visitors we want to bring in. Make sure it has secure wireless, but also allows people to be mobile with wireless devices around the building. And make it really pretty so that everybody likes it and everybody wants to come work there. And give us some spaces that can change back and forth from SCIF to unclassified, just like that. Make sure the design's energy efficient and deliver as quick as possible, but make sure it'll last the next 100 years. So, of course, the genie pauses and says, do you want 2 lanes or 4? So that's a little bit about what I'm dealing with, but I'm dealing with it with a great team. We just have an awesome team, and I think a couple of our folks are here in the audience, Chris Aschebrenner and Tom Bukowski. So they're the 2 deputy program directors for the program. They're the brains behind the operation. I'm the cheerleader. But Chris is our associate deputy for IT and readiness. Tom is the deputy director for the project. They really do keep this whole thing moving. So what are we trying to do? We need a cutting-edge facility. We need to achieve the art of the possible. As we've moved through the last 3 years of programming and initial design and planning, It's really always been about what can we achieve, certainly considering cost and schedule, but we want to take advantage of what's over the horizon, what's to come. So how can we provide more flexibility so that we can work in the open? I'm sure you heard Director Cardillo talk about that this morning, how important that is to the future of our agency. How can we provide an environment that really works for our team, all the while, with all that openness, still keeping our facilities secure? It's not always about the coolest technology or getting to 100% solution. We're pushing the envelope, certainly, but we also have to be pragmatic in how we get to that vision. So let's see if I can make this work. Hey. So before I talk a little bit about our approach, here's the geographic context. Otis had a similar slide, but you see here where we are located in proximity to a number of our current science and technology partners. And as Otis's panel talked about, we really believe this location is going to attract a lot of other potential partners in the future. In fact, we're hearing a lot already about folks that are very interested in joining us here in St. Louis that maybe don't currently have a footprint here. Very exciting. This site will give us the ability to be a part of the city's growing technology corridor, and we'll continue to benefit from our partnerships with local academic institutions, as well as places like the T-Rex, like the KIC, just building that atmosphere of contributing to the culture change that we envision for NGA. So we believe N2W as a facility will transform the workplace culture for our current team members. We believe it'll create an environment that appeals to future generations. We don't have a crystal ball on that, but preferences of the workforce to come seem to be a lot about working in urban environments. And we are seeing that trend here in St. Louis as well as in other parts of the country. So we want to position our campus in that type of environment, and we think that helps us address our future recruitment needs. We also believe, and this is something, again, I'm very committed to, the fact that our future facility will be a catalyst for this section of the city, that will attract GeoInt companies and other businesses to the area, and that means jobs, and that means revitalization. Incredibly important, I think, to North St. Louis. Companies are already telling me that they're excited about moving nearby. And, you know, the only thing I wish is that we really could open our doors more quickly. So here's our site. You can see that the new site is much bigger than our current site. Right now, the 2nd Street facility sits on about 26 acres over on the south side of the city. This new site is 97 acres. So that gives us a lot more physical space to work with. It gives us ample room to build and allows us to satisfy our physical security requirements, which really currently aren't met over at 2nd Street. So we'll have the space to support our people, support our mission, and support the facility security. N2W's design includes incorporating mobile and wireless technologies to enhance our day-to-day work. That kind of mobility is fairly commonplace in private enterprise, but for us in the intelligence community, it's a pretty big step. That design challenge is really, you know, the challenge of workplace mobility for us is part of and at the heart of the what is possible that we've been working on. And then we look at that, again, from a technology standpoint and a security standpoint to determine what is really doable. The design build teams that are competing today for the construction contract They're working on physical solutions. So we've given them parameters to work within, and they're coming up with concepts to try to support our needs. But our future teammates on the IT side and the security side will have to bring to the fore the technical solutions. So what we're betting on here is that the technology solutions are going to be there, merge with the brick and mortar to make us a more flexible agency in the long run. So we have to continue to partner with folks like you who have the ideas that may be useful applications for us, maybe some solutions that you've actually implemented or plan to implement in your own workplaces. We love to get those suggestions. I will say industry has been incredibly supportive. We have so many people come by who just want to share ideas and help out. You know, a lot of folks are just really committed to this project and making it the best it can possibly be, and we do really appreciate that. So overall, the art of the possible is about building flexibility into our facility so it can evolve as our mission dictates, evolve more easily, certainly, and lets us take advantage of emerging technologies that will have application for us over the long term. So a big part of bringing together the physical design elements with the technology is this idea of flexibility. What you see here is just a quick layout of how our space might be working. We're balancing space with the need for both classified and unclassified environments, and then providing the public access that we know we need to carry our mission forward. So here you'll see kind of a 60-20-20 split on the workspace. The vision for 2025 today is that 20% of our mission will reside in unclass. So that decision has been made. That 20% will predominantly be from Foundation GeoEnt, Aero Maritime, Topo, and survey missions. We have a plan for that today. We're in the early stages of budgeting and designing IT that will support that plan. And as I've mentioned in previous updates, and you'll see that flex space there, we have about 20% of the workspace dedicated to what we call flex modules. Those are spaces that will help us adapt between now and 2025 if we need to adapt, and also well beyond that. Allow us to physically change our security domains in modular increments in an efficient way. So we always talk about if we could do it today, and it's incredibly difficult to make those kind of modifications over at 2nd Street or out at NCE for that matter. You know, it takes months and months, and it can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. In this case, this will be a matter of just days that we can switch the security domain in a particular space if we need to do that. Let's see. So making these facility predictions in today's world is pretty tough. Things move lightning fast, obviously, in the IT lane, and it seems like faster all the time. High-tech theorists say that we're going to experience at least 2 generations of emerging IT before the 2021 timeframe. So in the exact timeline that Chris and his teams are working our IT requirements documents, this is just going to be evolving so quickly. If you consider the fact that just 8 years ago, the first iPad was introduced in 2010, and the first Android tablets a year before that, and the fact that now they're ubiquitous, practically all of us have one in our homes. Certainly they're across classrooms in our schools. The first iPhone came out 11 years ago. There wasn't even a smartphone thing before that. I just can't believe that was that recent. And the world has just really changed since the introduction of those tools. Cloud services introduced in 2006 really only became available to the DoD on a large scale starting in 2012. But as transformative as all of these IT tools have been in our world today, the next wave is going to be upon us before we even move into N2W. So our challenge comes down to what should we expect? What should we plan for? What should our workforce expect? What should we bet on, really, is where it is right now. What should we bet on and design for? So we can open a facility that is for the future, not, obsolete. To help us with our planning, we are investing in a test bed environment using one of the buildings at our 2nd Street facility. This is really going to be a huge payoff for us, I think, in risk reduction for the project and really achieving this art of the possible. So we're calling it the N2W Experimental Wireless and Technology Test Bed, or NEWT. It'll play a very important role in helping us identify the technology we can use. It'll serve much like an unclassed skunkworks. It gives us the flexibility to work with partners like you to bring you in to piece together what our future IT should really look like. We have an IT team working on solutions right now. That team includes not only NGA government personnel, contractor personnel, but we've got NavAir and SPAWAR as a part of our team, along with other IC agency partners who all have an impressive skill set that we're tapping into. All of these partners are very anxious to help us develop the purpose-built solution that we need for wireless and other related technical challenges. So our approach will be incremental. As the steps kind of show on this slide, we're taking advantage of the off-site unclassified environment here at T-Rex, the NEWT space that will be at 2nd Street, along with our SGIF space in Building 36. In all of these spaces, we will be partnering with those who can help us, again, understand what is the art of the possible. These partnerships will continue to evolve and grow, and they will include across the board, government, academia, and industry. We intend for NEWT to be up and running by the end of March, and the wireless implementation actually is beginning now and should be assembled and running in San Diego before the end of this year. And again, for those who would like to know more about the art of the possible with the NEWT, Chris is here. You can catch him later, or Scott Gum is our IT lead. Those are great folks to talk to about that effort. Transformation dependencies identified in moving source foundation to unclass will have a ripple effect across the board, as we talk about here in this slide. So whole lot of partnerships involved in pulling that together and making that happen for foundation. We know we need to streamline some of our production processes, enable them to work outside of the current confined classified space where they are to better support their customers. But in addition to moving those systems and databases that support the foundation mission, we also have to think about our corporate administrative applications, because those need to operate where our teammates are. So if you think about within NGA today, that's a corporate information source for our employees. It's published every day. It gives them a lot of data about what's going on in the agency today. That only resides on the high side. So we have to think through all of those things, all of those corporate applications, to make sure that those who are working in the unclass environment, whether at N2W or some other place, will have access to the day-to-day that they need to do their job. Ideally, N2W facility design will enable our employees to go in and out from SGIF to unclass. connect to the appropriate networks and domains on either side of the boundary, all based on a device knowing its location and what it's allowed to do there. So we certainly think that's part of the art of the possible for this project. Some of you have already seen this, but we do continue to work out the plans for the different types of partnering spaces we will have at N2W. In addition to having more conference rooms and more collaboration spaces, we're going to have these 3 primary areas spread across the zones of the building for engagement with our mission partners. First off, the Learning Center, that will be in the public space. That will allow us to bring students and other uncleared visitors in to learn more about our agency and about our mission. This space will be multifunctional for a wide variety of engagements. Director Cardillo always talks about this as his 3rd grade classroom space. You know, bring in literally grade school classes to come learn about GeoEnt. The Innovation Center is where we expect more engagement with our industry and academic partners. It'll be flexible, kind of a hackerspace environment for emerging technologies and app development. And because it will be in the unclassified zone, we will be able to bring in more non-traditional partners to work with us there. And then finally, for our classified research and development, we will still have a research lab and workroom in the SGIF. We expect that that'll be located near what will be our tech center, where most of our systems will be managed. So thanks to Otis Williams, and actually this is not an updated slide. They're shooting some new video footage and photos today of the site, but this is the N2W site, all 97 acres completely cleared. Again, to accommodate everything we're doing, it takes a good deal of land. The city removed about 139, 140 structures from this 97 acres. Close to 900,000 tons of soil have been removed from the site. To give you an idea, that's enough to fill the dome over here, the Edward Jones Dome, halfway up. So just a tremendous amount of effort has gone into getting that site ready. I will say the leadership of Otis Williams and Russell Halliday of the St. Louis Development Corporation have really been amazing, carrying out what was an incredibly complex task in just a little over a year to get that site prepped, remediated, and ready to go. So they've basically almost finished their part. The Air Force and the city are currently working with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources and the EPA to finalize environmental documentation. And then our partners at Army Corps are working title transfer paperwork. So just a lot of paperwork right now. But as Otis says, we're really tracking to transfer the land in November. So here's our major milestone. So mentioned the land transfer. The design build proposals are in evaluation right now. That's really exciting for us, the fact that we're currently on schedule to award that contract in March. Shortly after that, because it is design build, there will be some more design to do after the contract is awarded, but I expect we will have shovels in the ground by late next summer, maybe early fall. But soon we are going to really see some major activity going on over at the site. And then our goal is to be completely out of 2nd Street by the end of 2025. Probably late 2024, we'll start moving in and be done, and then decommission the 2nd Street facility. So suffice to say, we've got a lot of big challenges. We've had a lot up to now, But we do think, we understand our vision. We understand the imperatives behind what we're doing. We think we've come up with some great design requirements on the building side that will meet that vision. We're still working the IT design piece to get there also. Certainly, we know the tyranny of technology is that sometimes the solutions are going to be hard to forecast. But I will say the team is just doing a splendid job of getting out, not staying within our four walls and thinking we have all the answers, but really getting out there and searching out, again, that art of the possible, the potential solutions that are out there that we can take advantage of. We do all of that. We really don't have a GeoInt genie. Would be nice if we did. But underpinning all of our vision and all of our expectations is the fact that we are building for the next 100 years. And we know that's going to take the talent of a whole lot of people, the dedication of a whole lot of people. And so we're looking forward to working with all of you to achieve that vision and get where we need to be. So thank you very much, and we'll take some questions. No questions. Okay.
First of all, kudos to you and your team for pulling this together. I think it's fabulous, and I'm in awe of the community support that's been shown here today. I know you're moving fast and furious into your design and build phase. I guess my question is, have you given any thought to your acquisition strategy for the procurement of third-party support services, such as commissioning, operation maintenance, sustainment programs, all that sort of thing?
Yeah, and I wish I had brought the fact sheet with me. We actually have a sheet that kind of lays out all of those strategies. Certainly where we can, we're taking advantage of NGA enterprise vehicles. A certain amount of what you talked about goes through the Army Corps of Engineers and their contracting strategies, although they work very closely with us to kind of determine what strategy they're going to use. A couple of right now, our construction site security proposals, those are due at the end of this month, and that was done as a small business set-aside, so we're excited about that. We'll have a deployment contract coming up in a few years. That one will be probably 2023 timeframe, but that'll be another opportunity for industry to engage with us. So lots of things out there, and I can get you my card afterwards, and I can get you a copy of that fact sheet. Okay. Yes, sir, Jason.
Can you talk about what's going to happen with the existing St. Louis 2nd Street site when we decommission or essentially turn it back over to whoever?
Absolutely, and that is one of the questions we get most frequently. People really care about the Arsenal site. It's a really cool historic place. It is on the National Register of Historic Places. Most of it is. It will go through the excess property disposal process that GSA runs, but despite that, because it is on the National Register, whomever acquires it will have to preserve the historic structures, the parade ground, et cetera, the fence that exists there today. I think Building 36 itself is not on the historic register, so that one, they'd have whoever owns it will have a little flexibility. I think I've heard through the grapevine there is some interest out there in the property, so don't know what it will become, but for St. Louis, I think it will always be the Arsenal. Yep. Okay. All right, sir. Oh, Keith is coming up.